It is an important day here because of what is happening in Quetta, and people from the refugee movement from Sydney, from Brisbane, from Melbourne have come here to support the Hazaras today, to make it very, very clear, I think, to the Australian government that Pakistan is not safe, Quetta is not safe, Afghanistan is not safe, and that for too long the Australian government has sat quietly. In spite of the killings in Quetta, we know about the killings in Quetta, they know about the killings in Quetta. It's not good enough, you know, for those things to be reported in the paper and for the Australian government not to be condemning the killings in Quetta. There are 40,000 Hazaras in Australia now, Australian citizens. Their families, their relatives, the people who they are part of in Quetta, they hurt badly when things are happening in Quetta. People need support in Quetta. Defending 40,000 Hazaras in Australia means defending Hazaras in Quetta. It means speaking out against the killings. It means condemning the killings. It means appealing to the Pakistan government to provide the kind of support which they should provide to the Hazaras in Quetta, in Pakistan and elsewhere. So it is not safe. And we had the tragedy of being involved last year with Mohammed Ashraf, who was sent back from Australia to Quetta, even though his son, in May last year, his son was shot and injured in the cemetery in Quetta. On the day before he was removed from Australia to be sent back to Quetta, his father was killed when the bus that he was travelling on in Quetta was stopped, and he was taken off the bus and shot. Now we know that is what's happening in Quetta. The refugee campaign knows what's happening in Quetta. The Hazaras knows what's happening in Quetta. We need the Australian government to speak out very, very strongly.
Yes!
Stop the killings! Stop the killings in Quetta!
Stop the killing in Quetta! Stop the killing!
Pakistan and Quetta are not safe. So Sarah Hanson-Young, Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young has sent a statement. She sent a statement down to be read out. It's hard to read. It says, from Sarah Hanson-Young, I continue to be horrified to hear reports about increasing brutality committed against Hazara people who are living in Pakistan. The international community must be vigilant in monitoring and condemning ethnic cleansing wherever it arises. These families have already been forced to flee their homeland and their right to live, to expect safety in countries of refuge, not further persecution. I believe that the Australian community needs to support the Hazara people, both overseas and on our own shores. Whoops, I've lost it. Sorry. It says, we believe the Australian community needs to support the Hazara people both overseas and on our own shores. As part of the recent inquiry to the detention network, I travelled to all of Australia's detention centres, where sadly I met many Hazara asylum seekers. We know that 90% of the people in detention, many of whom are Hazara, will eventually be offered protection here in Australia because they are valid refugees. Whoops. Valid refugees. We know they come here seeking our help.